Blackstone Audio presents Chasing Mrs. Right, a Come Undone novel by Katee Robert. This book is read by Kasha Kensington. Chapter 1. When Ian Walser got off the plane in his hometown of Spokane, Washington, all he'd really wanted was a cold beer and 12 hours of undisturbed sleep. His family and friends had other plans. He took a long pull from his beer and sighed. At least he'd gotten one of those things. All around him, people milled in the semi-darkness of the club. Elle and her new boyfriend sat at the other end of the long table, and he thanked his lucky stars they were more interested in each other than him. To be fair, he'd shut his sister down every time she came over and tried to talk to him. He just wanted to be alone. It wasn't in the cards for him tonight, though. Along with his baby sister, the crowd was filled with old high school friends he hadn't bothered to keep up with, aside from the occasional phone call or email. It wasn't that he'd wanted to cut all ties with this place when he'd shipped out overseas. He'd just never been good at long-distance communication. Hell, outside of his family, the only person he talked to regularly these days was Nathan, and his best friend hadn't been able to make it tonight. Ian's mother perched on the chair next to him, effectively blocking any chance of escape. Even knowing he was safe here, the familiar tightness started in his chest. He wanted to ask his mom to move, to let him have the end seat at the table, but then he'd have to explain himself, and he hadn't seen fit to share all the gory details of his most recent tour. As bad as it had been with Nathan by his side when they'd been in Iraq, it had been 1,000 times worse when he'd shipped out to Afghanistan alone. Just thinking about it had the pressure building in his chest. He made a conscious effort to breathe, in through his nose, hold for 3 seconds, out through his mouth. It didn't help. Neither did his mother. "Your sister went through all the effort to plan this party, and you've spent the entire time sitting in the corner, glaring at anyone who tries to talk to you. You're being rude." As much as he loved his mother, dealing with her was the last thing he needed right now. "No one asked me if I wanted this." If he had been asked, he would have found a way out of it. But there'd been no time to escape once Elle picked him up from the airport and hustled him here, barely giving him enough time to shower at her place on the way. Here, with the country music twanging, balloons attached to every available surface, and the clash of too many people in too small a space, his nerves were shot, and he had a nasty...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?